All of you, I suppose, will be familiar, and I can use an Auckland Isthmus, the Res 6A, one house per 375 square metres, and an old school zoning, that is gone. And so all of those zonings, whether it was Res 5, 1 per 500 or 1 per 400, all of those zones have gone through it, from Orewa to Pukekohe, from Maraetai to Muriwai. They've all gone, and they've been replaced with, and if you look at your cheat sheet, those of you who've got it in front of you, they've been replaced with about 5 residential zones, effectively. Single house, mixed housing suburban, mixed housing urban, terrace house and apartments. So if I'll take you through those very quickly, there is very little single house sites left. So single house are usually on the coastal edge, areas where there's flooding, or there's not adequate infrastructure, or if I said to you the depths of Glen Eden, I don't mean that in a bad way, just a long way from anywhere. Then you've got mixed housing suburban. Now this is the start. Single house was 1 house per 600 square metres, and at the end of this presentation there's a lovely twist to that for those accountants who are going to have investors. Mixed housing suburban is the first zone where I just want you to imagine that this is a zone where 2-level terraces or 2-level townhouses will go. But there's no density limit, and there's only required 1 car park per unit. So you remember that, especially as us trying to squeeze houses onto sites, we had to provide 2 car parks. So we've just done a design for a client, or we're preparing a resource consent for a client in Meadowbank. The site is 800 square metres. It's mixed housing suburban. We may bring the site up. We've fitted 4 townhouses, 800 square metres. We've had a pre-up with council. They've asked for some minor changes, but 95% of it is on the right track, 1 car park per unit. I'm not sure where the other cars are going to go, but let's not worry about that. The next zone is mixed housing urban. So what I want you to think, and I suppose what I'm trying to do is paint you some pictures of what it'll look like. They're going to be 3-level terraces. 3-level, there might be some apartment terraces, but they'll generally be 3-level terrace houses. You get 45% building coverage, so a little bit more building coverage, but still residential in nature. The next zone, this is terrace house and apartment. So, and we'll talk about Te Atatū Peninsula, and we'll go there on one of our journeys after. 16, so these replaced former residential zones, 16 metre height limit, no density, and we're expecting apartments, 1 car park per unit. In some cases, you don't have to provide any parking at all in those zones. We're dealing with a client with a site, and he said, what can I do under the unitary plan? So we got an architect to do a design, and he fitted 5 large townhouses. They're about 3 levels, 250 square metres. The same architect then designed that into 10 units, 10 terraces with 10 garden apartments, 5 terraces with 5 garden apartments below. He then did the same design and did 21 studio apartments. Now, our client wants to keep the whole lot. He's going to do 21 studio apartments with no car parks. Why? Because it's 150 metres to the railway station at Remuera. It's 50 metres to Great South Road where there's buses. It's 500 metres to Green Lane Countdown. It's probably about 2 kilometres max walk to Newmarket. Before, two townhouses, that's all we could have fit on that site. So these are the transformations I want to, this is why I say I'm exciting. First of all, I have work for life, but secondly, finally, and we've just written what I think is quite a good article on, we've put it up on LinkedIn, there will be no housing crisis in Auckland in 5 years' time when you see what I show you today with regards to the increase in zoning. What it is before there was no development potential, now there's lots. Doesn't mean every site will be taken up, doesn't mean houses are going to be demolished and suddenly there'll be sways, but now there is the opportunity, whereas before there wasn't. So there is a real opportunity for growth. I've done a version of this presentation to the likes of GJ Gardner and Keith A. Holmes, and you'll imagine someone like GJ's, they generally produce 150 to 250 square metre houses on 400 square metre lots, either 1 or 2 levels, very methodical, very simple pattern, very simple formula. Those companies are going to have to rethink their formula. Not abandon it, but 190,000 of the new houses, of the 420, will either be terraces or apartments. So neither Keith Hay or GJ's or the housing companies have a model yet which is easily replicatable. So when I spoke to them, they are going away to design up some new models which they can put on their website, which are duplexes or terrace houses. So even they are struggling to come to terms with the fact of the increase in zoning and the change in the type of housing we live in.